Hi Leo, I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your messages for the 7th through the 13th. This is really the week where these energies are going to be hitting that I'm going to be discussing, but expect the rollout to actually be going really for the next 6 months, having to do with the eclipse. So for you, we're having this incredibly intense solar eclipse happening. It's in Gemini and it's happening in your 11th house. So the new moon eclipse is happening in your 11th. You have Mercury retrograde in your 11th. So that's going to be happening there, okay? Now that eclipse is also going to be squaring Neptune. That Mercury retrograde is going to be squaring Neptune, right? So the 11th house is going to be squaring Neptune in your 8th house of transitions, endings and beginnings, how you show up as a we in relationship. 8th house has to do with divorce proceedings. 8th house has to do with sharing intimacy, other people's money. Again, anything that's cyclical as well, investments, money from a business, money from inheritance, an insurance payout, anything like that. And when we have these energies between the 11th and the 8th, the way it is right now, it's like you feel the change, but you have no idea how to actually make that transition. It's just not clear to you yet. So maybe you're in a situation where you want to get a divorce, but you're not sure. You're just not sure. Is it the right thing? I'm not sure how to handle it. If you're dealing with some sort of financial situation, some sort of lawsuit, some sort of legal situation, within business, within family, anything like that, you're just not sure. It's like this big looming question mark over everything. If you're feeling like that, you're completely in alignment with your archetype of Leo, okay? So just so that you know. And the only other thing going on this week, Saturn is squaring Uranus, and that's going to be climaxing on June 14th, right? Which is the day after this home recovering, but I feel like a lot of you are going to be feeling this before then, and that's going to be happening between your 7th house of relationships and your 10th house of career, public reputation, and your standing in the world. Right? It's not, 10th house is a lot more than just your career. It's how you approach work. It's how you blend with society. It has to do with the need that you have for achievement and recognition. Again, it has to do with your ambition. Right? So there's going to be the Saturnian energy. 7th house has to do with not only partnerships, marriage partnerships, but also any sort of contractual agreements. So there's going to be this square, this tension. Squares mean tension, right? Between that energy of contracts or relationship and that 10th house, right? Of where it is that you really want to go in your world. I have this feeling, just this unbelievable feeling in my energy right now, Leo. Just when I was meditating on you, it's like Leos are ready to bust out. You're just ready to bust out, but you have no idea what that even means right now. You could see it in your mind's eye, but actually bringing that into fruition is not as easy as you would think. It's just not as easy as you would think. This is a really weird week when it comes to the energy that's going to be hitting. Let me just turn these right side up. I'm just pulling a few divine energy oracles. We have shine your light, think things through, and make no judgments. And that includes on yourself as well. Leo, don't judge yourself too harshly. Really, a lot of people are like a little too tough on themselves these days. So let's see what else. Yeah, I mean, just this, the energy is going to be confusing, dishonest. Seriously, like, try your very best to avoid being gullible right now about anything. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to just, in a very self-aware way, question everything, right? It stinks that we have to be like that, but that this is the energy, because we're dealing with Neptune, right? This Neptunian energy is so challenging. Neptune is so smoke and mirrors. It's just, we don't know what to trust. And with Mercury retrograde, I love this. Shine your light is being clarified by beauty. Let's pull the cards first and then we'll go back. But there is just a lot of like this vibe of dishonesty, this vibe of white lies, right? It's just, it kind of is like that right now. With the Saturn squaring Uranus on the 14th that I was mentioning, that's going to bring a lot of restrictive change. or unexpected restrictions, right, to this solar eclipse energy. It could bring a change that you don't want. It also makes it harder to make the kind of changes that you do want. So it can be very frustrating, right? Rising tension, sudden changes just popping out of nowhere. But it doesn't have to be crazy. You really need to stay open-minded, patient, flexible, going to go a long way. What at first seems like a hot mess and a big challenge can end up turning into really an opportunity to get rid of like negative, restrictive, and limiting things in your life, whether it's a person, a relationship, a situation, something going on at work, whatever it is. But the key here is to stay very open and very honest. Exercise a lot of caution and honesty for the next several months. Seriously, especially when it comes to where it is that you want to go in your life, right? Because Leo, 11th house, this is where the 11th house is goals and gains, right? It's 11th house is just the identification, self-identification of something larger than yourself. What do you want to do? You want to do more. You want to be more, right? This has to do with your goals, objectives, your hopes, your wishes, more than what you are today. So you really... And the thing is, with this solar eclipse, is usually a great energy to bring these things into manifestation. And I'm not saying it's not, but you have these trippy energies. Mercury retrograde, I think, is going to be more problematic even than the square to Neptune. Square to Neptune is just because of where the alignments are hitting. It's going to be a thing where there is going to be this lack of confusion. But the main culprit here, as far as this not being a more positive experience right now, at least for this month, is that Mercury retrograde energy. So careful with communication, careful with, believing anybody saying anything straight out of the gate. Really be careful. If somebody is promising you the world, you know what I mean? If something is too good to be true, it probably is right now. This is a weird Mercury retrograde because of other aspects going on. Usually I don't sweat Mercury retrogrades. Those of you who've been watching me know that. I'm like, Mercury's retrograde half the time, literally. So, we can't stop life, right? Mercury retrograde can be good to just kind of slow us down and pull us back so that we take things a little slower, right? Which is good, except all these other energies that are going on, making it a lot more challenging right now anyway. So this little first pull here is having to do with the energy that we're going through right now, having to do with the eclipse. And then I'll pull on relationship and career a little more specifically. So we have shine your light, we have beauty. So shine your light, shine it on. Really, if you are going through a period where you're very confused, and I feel like if you're resonating with your Leo archetype, you are, focus very heavily on what you do bring to the table. Focus on what it is that you do want. You try to get those little moments of happiness. Oh my gosh, Leo, if you can laugh at yourself, that would be so perfect. I'm really trying to get everybody to do that. If you can laugh at yourself and how ridiculous you might be. Or maybe the ridiculous situation that you have yourself in, and just be like, okay, what am I doing, right? Truth be told, yes, be really, really honest. Because for you to get, this is a very crossing the street kind of energy actually for everybody. In order for you to cross that street, to work towards the goal, the gain, whatever it is that you have in your mind's eye that you want for yourself, right? You are feeling this because you're having this in your 11th house, and with Neptune in the 8th, you're very confused about what that even means. You're not sure how to end something, you're not sure how to leave something, and you're not really sure how to start something and what that even means. So it's like, it's this very sort of, right? In all of that, try to be as honest with yourself and everyone around you as you possibly can, because there's going to be conflict. And the best way to navigate this kind of conflict that you're going to be dealing with, it's not the end of the world, but don't be surprised if you find yourself in arguments where there are strong opinions, people are fighting to be heard, fighting to have their way understood, all of that. You know how quickly these things can sort of escalate and get into this very unproductive kind of just screaming at each other and nobody hears anything sort of thing. If you could just speak your truth, be prepared for it not to maybe be met by everybody in your life with 100% positivity, and you need to be okay with that. And you know, truth be told, to speak your truth. There's no more like trying to sidestep anything in order to make something work, in order to make, you know, quell that family situation, make that relationship work, deal with that situation at work with that colleague or that boss or whatever. Really be very honest with yourself. This is a time to think things through. Everybody's doing that anyway with Mercury retrograde. Clarifying that is pay attention to the signs though. And the red flags too. There are signs in that, being really, really honest with yourself about what, if you're in something right now, Leo, right? What feels a little off center? What's making you feel in your soul like, I don't know, that's just like not right. I don't know. Don't ignore that. Don't ignore that. Pay attention to that in order for you to find peace. And have peace in the idea that whatever it is that you're recognizing, it's screaming to be recognized and heard and paid attention to in order for you to bring yourself to that space that you need to go to. Now, a lot of you, Six of Cups energy is beautiful. Don't be surprised if you're feeling very nostalgic. A lot of people are. Mercury retrograde can absolutely do this, particularly when you have this Neptune energy in the 8th, which has to do with cycles and bringing things up from the past that you have to look at. So a lot of you are going to be in this very reflective state about your marriage, about your career, about what you've done up to this point. Very nostalgic, very reflective. Also an energy where you're going to be, some of you are going to be thinking about reconnecting with somebody from your past. So it could be an old friend, an old relationship, reconnecting to something that you did at one point for work, reconnecting to an idea that you had at one point, anything like that. Others of you are going to be full-blown in the headspace to reconcile with a person, or needing to reconcile a situation from your past. Even if you're not with the energy anymore, reconciling and coming to terms with the fact that something didn't work out, and really being honest with yourself about why it didn't and why you can't keep going back to something that's not working. You can't fit a circle in a square. And it's just recognizing that there's a reason and a season for everything that we go through in life. And to just, with an open heart and a lot of honesty and openness, it's a really good energy to do it in, meaning it's very supportive. So if you feel like you've suffered mistreatment in the past because of a person or a situation, things are actually going to feel more remedied in, you know, throughout this time period right now. Really is about making no judgments. My goodness, right? All of us. No judgments. Right? We don't have the right to do that a good portion of the time. Right? We might not like how things roll out. We might not like it. We might not. But we have to really pay attention to this idea of victim consciousness as well, Leo, too. Even if we were in a situation where we feel like by all rights we were mistreated, right? That relationship, that family situation, that job situation, life in general, stuff with parents, things within family, whatever it is, be really, really hyper-focused on that. And if you're calling something out where you're recognizing like, all right, I can't feel sorry for myself because this is really unproductive. I just can't. And if you're dealing with a person who is very entrenched in this sort of victimhood and they don't want to hear anything, don't judge them right now. They might be going through something that you can't possibly understand. Do you know what I mean? So just recognizing, where is this alive and well in your life? This idea of victim consciousness, either within yourself or with somebody that you're close to. But this idea is being clarified by chaos and conflict. So you might be feeling very victimized within that relationship, and you very well may be. If you're in a relationship that's really unsatisfying, you know, in some way maybe even mentally abusive or just like not the right fit, honestly, it's very easy to feel like a victim in it. But where the ownership comes in, and this is where the tricky part comes in, and this is where it's going to be difficult for you to navigate, right now is how to end that, how to get out of it, how to get out of that dysfunctional work environment, end that dysfunctional family situation. Like how do you see your way through where you can easily say, like, right now I can't because of very good A, B, and C reasons. Okay, fine. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. You might not be able to make a move right now, but don't call yourself a victim. Just say that this is an opportunity for me to do some serious problem solving, and I have to figure something out, and I'm going to get through this and pass it and grow from it, but I have to deal with particular steps. I can't make a move right now. It's not the right time. But you could set your ducks up in a row. You could do a lot of planning right now. You could, you know what I mean? You can exercise self-care, even if you're in a situation that, is by all rights for you, where you feel really kind of like it's just a very unhealthy situation. We have the judgment reversed, and you might feel yourself stuck in the past or refuse to learn the lessons that are here for you. So you might find yourself in old patterns, but you're not ready to break free just yet. So this does indicate some sort of delay, right? Where you feel trapped and you're not able to progress forward without really understanding why. Like, what is the problem? And just tell yourself, the energy is the problem. If you could just press a pause button and not make any big sweeping decisions right now. The best thing to do here is, first of all, accept the past, right? Evaluate your actions in a situation fairly and have compassion for the person that you were in that situation, right? You don't have to live with the results of your past. You can decide to be free from something. You could be free from that toxic relationship, family connection, job, whatever it is. That does not have to define your future. You can be free of it. It's not always the easiest thing, but it does seem like that's the space where you're at right now, because you're sort of trapped. And you know what? Listen, you have Neptune, which is that smoke and mirror energy, in the house of rumination, of anxiety. So you're feeling very anxious. You don't even know why. And that's okay. Right now, that's just what's going on. So if you're feeling that way, okay, just do whatever you have to do to get through. But as long as you exercise honesty, integrity, and just understand this is not going to last. Everything is happening exactly as it should be, even though it is so difficult for the moment. Okay? So that's what we have for the I wanted to say the eclipse energies, right? So let's go into relationship. Let's see if we can get some more specific messages for those of you dealing with anything in the relationship area. I mean, look, you have some 8th house and 7th house energies going on. Those are relationship houses for sure, even 10th houses. You know what, even 11th, right? If we're talking about goals and gains, where it is that you're going, right? If you're in a relationship, you can see yourself staying with that person, right? They are part of your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan, your 20-year plan, right? That's that 11th house energy. But a lot of confusion. Some of you, again, are going to be feeling very confused. Those of you who are in a relationship right now, those of you who are married, don't be surprised if you're feeling very confused about, should you get divorced? Should you not? What would that even look like? Holy hell, I can't see, right? Don't be surprised if you're feeling like that, okay? A lot of you who are single right now, you're going to be doing a lot of reflecting about the past relationships, things like that. Again, even if you're single, you're going to be looking at the patterns and stuff that have gone on in your life. We have look forward, beautiful, look forward. Yeah. Look forward. Focus on the future. What could you control? What can't you control? Let go of the stuff you can't control of. Just look forward. Self-sabotage. Okay. I don't want to say anything about that yet because I'm going to clarify this. So, and then we have time for a nap. Don't do anything. Don't do anything. Stop. Don't do anything for a minute. Okay. Look forward, self-sabotage, time for a nap. Where are you getting in your own way? I mean, going back to the judgment reverse energy, right? where you might just be having a really hard time, where you feel very stuck in the past, refusing to learn any sort of learning the message that's there for you. You want to be careful of that, because that's definitely self-sabotaging. So let's see what we have going on here. So we have the Five of Wands. So anxiety because of arguments. Everything is happening just as it's meant to be, as it's meant to be. You are in a point of a turning point right now. There's fate is at play in the biggest way. And you're feeling very disappointed, disillusionment, very restless energy. But there's some sort of need to heal, some sort of unhealed past issue. Definitely. You're having a hard time, though, moving forward. We have the Hangman. Hangman is all about feeling very... it's Neptune. Hangman is Neptune in astrology. And this is about... okay, I mean, what are you confused about? You're confused if you put your energy into a relationship, is it going to be reciprocated in a very healthy way that you're looking for? If some of you might be in contact with somebody online that you met, or somebody that you just recently met, you're in the space of wondering, do they feel about you the way you feel about them? Or they might be wondering that about you, and it's like, okay, I feel like we're pussyfooting around here. Is this worth the wait? I don't know. Are they going to show? It's that kind of thing. It's also looking at the relationship, and even just the idea of relationship, even if you're single, and saying, for me to be in relationship, does that mean that I'm going to have to end up martyring and sacrificing what I really want, need, and desire for my life? Because, you might be in the space where you feel like every relationship that you get into sort of sidetracks you, or isn't on board with what it is that you want for your life. And that could be very confusing, because you want to be in a relationship, but you don't want to have to sacrifice what it is that you want, obviously. So I feel for a lot of you in relationship already. This is a time of anxiety and argument and confusion, but at the same time, there's an end to a challenging era, because there's got to be, right? There's an ending here where there's a history to it, and the finality and the release of it is going to release you from the frustration and stress, even if it's painful and difficult right now. This is the end of a challenging era, so that you can move yourself into a healthier mindset, fresh eyes, a new way of being. Because it's been too much for too long, and it really is. And this is you walking away with emotional intelligence, saying, okay, something doesn't feel right here. I got to move on. Sadness, but no regret. It's time to work on you, Leo. Honestly, you've given something so much energy. You have. You've given something so much energy. Three of Pentacles, Page of Swords, Three of Swords. So you're being very, very honest with yourself here, right? Queen of Swords is just about truth. Feeling very motivated to find out the truth and the psychological motivation of a person, yourself, the situation that you're in, just in general. Swords are all about truth, right? You really want to collaborate with somebody. You want a partner. You want a partner to sort of just engage with and experience life with and grow old with. That's what you want, right? You're very focused on, you want a successful relationship once and for all. You don't want any of this other nonsense. You're being very, very honest with yourself. And in doing that, you're looking at heartbreak and pain. The pains of a truth. You're looking at betrayals. You're looking at, if you're depressed in a relationship, why? What's missing? And it's just, this is an energy, though, where the clouds of doubt are going to be cleared, and all you're going to be able to do is face the reality. At least the confusion's going to be gone, and you're going to be in a position where you're going to be able to move on and heal. We got the Wheel, though. Very destiny-driven energy. Some of you are going to be going back to somebody from the past. Some of you are going to be going back to the past to reconcile issues about that past relationship so that you can move forward in a healthier way. But whatever it is, this is beautiful. It's Jupiter. So Jupiter energy. So there's going to be a lot of reminiscing. A lot of the energies that I'm getting, when it comes to the wheel, for a lot of the different readings I'm doing, it's a very deeply reminiscent kind of thing. Because remember, the wheel kind of brings back the past in a way that, makes us want to either reconnect with it or reconcile the issues that we had in that situation. We have the Seven of Cups, which is choices and confusion and commitment issues, and the thing is, you're not sure what's real, what's not. And I was mentioning, that 8th house energy, you're not sure. Things feel up in the air right now, but you could feel you're at the beginning stages of this next leg of your journey, but you might really not know what the hell that means right now, and that's okay. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Let's talk about this for a second, because first of all, if this is you being very, very smart with who you choose to spend your time with. Being very particular. A lot of you, if you're completely unattached, you're being very, very particular with the energy that you're allowing. If you are involved with somebody, you're being very pointed in your conversations regarding wanting to be made, I guess, assured. You want to be assured that you're not wasting your time. You don't want to feel like you're wasting your time. Now, others of you are going to be dealing with the Knight of Pentacle energy, somebody who's very loyal, somebody who's very dependable, but they can be kind of boring, kind of slow to share their feelings, just like you feel like something, not that they're not a good person, they just might not have that vavoom that you're really looking for, right? I mean, depending on what you're looking for, they could be your rock, but they might lack the excitement to really keep your heart really interested for the long term in a really satisfying way. But it does depend on where you're at. It does depend on where you're at. I don't know with the Four of Cups, though, as this is an energy of restlessness and boredom and apathy and feeling disillusioned and feeling like, am I ever going to be in a relationship where I feel like my shoes are on the right feet, where I feel like I'm a good fit, where it's not so easy for me to say, oh, but if only, but if only, but if only. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. So I feel like for this week, a lot of you guys are going to be in this space of, again, just going along with the astrology. It's just going to be recognizing these things. But going back to the oracles, you want to make sure that you're not seeing the expiration date on something, and that you're brave enough to allow yourself to look forward. But right now, you just need to chill for the moment, get your ducks in a row, and figure out how you're going to move forward in a way that's really going to speak to where it is that you want your life to go, having to do with in the area of relationship. Not a good energy to just jump into that next relationship, guys. It's not, because there's going to be a lot of information that you're not privy to right now. So you just want to be careful of that. All right. Or things are being presented in a less than honest way. Seriously. And I'm not only saying, again, Mercury retrograde, we have Neptune, and we have the energy of the Saturn squaring Uranus. Again, this idea of frustration, rising tension, sudden changes, you can't trust this energy right now. So it's enough to recognize where you need to change, resolve within yourself to make those changes, and figure out how you're going to end up making that happen once the energy lightens up. Tune out distractions. This has to do with career and money, guys. I'm sorry, I should have said that first. Tune out distractions. I like that. Yeah, because, I feel like there's going to be a lot of noise in your life right now, Leo. Lots of noise in many different directions. Patience. Tune out distractions and focus on your work. Focus on changing something having to do, or tune out distractions when it comes to that financial situation that needs to be worked out, whatever it is, between worlds right now. Tune out distractions, patience, between worlds. So some of you may be in a very transitory time period having to do with either a career situation or a financial situation that you're experiencing in your life right now. Ten of Pentacles, maybe it has to do with family. Could be your first family. It could be your marriage. This could be financial responsibilities of family. Okay, just see what we have here. Okay, so there's some sort of conflict going on, I see, within family, within the home, within something having to do with money. So whether it's somebody's not making enough money, contributing enough money, there's some sort of tricky situation having to do with that. This could also actually have to do with a business partnership as well. But you're in this space, Leo, where I feel like you're really questioning whether you belong in the situation or not. There's this need to settle a conflict, both within yourself and with another person, having to do with money. So whether it's the maturity of money, all the things that Ten of Pentacles means. This is a family energy. It's maturity of money, deepening of commitment regarding money, shared values, shared resources, property, legacy, inheritance. Anything having to do with sharing, feeling like you don't belong in something anymore, or something doesn't feel right, but the challenge here is you're really not sure how to deal with it. That's the thing, right? And that's what ends up creating the anxiety. You need determination to pull yourself out of something, even if it means swallowing your pride, even if it means being really uncomfortable. There has to be some sort of meeting of the minds here regarding something either having to do with your career or a financial situation. We need a lot of patience here. We got patience here. And this is a patience energy as well. Seven of Pentacles. This is about hard work paying off, right? Potential for success. Whatever your situation is, don't give up on it. You're almost there. Don't give up. There is a new approach to be had. Look at this. We have the Ace of Cups and we have the Page of Wands. Yeah. So express yourself by expressing yourself in a very open and honest way. Okay. There's going to be this new offer that's going to come in, even if it's not exactly what you envisioned it to be. It might not be as glittery, as glammy, as high paying, as profitable, as whatever. Or even, I'm not even going to say it's satisfying, because I don't feel like that. I feel like it would be satisfying. It just may not be as big or as grand as you originally thought it would be, but I do like that it's going to end up in success. This is deserved success, great energy. If you've been struggling lately, this is getting acknowledgement at work. In general, this is a good energy for anything having to do with money, property, any sort of work decision, any sort of decision making, quite frankly. It's really nice. Now, we have the Six of Cups energy here. So there can be this energy of nostalgia of the past, or reconnecting with old friends, old colleagues, reconnecting to a job that you used to do, reminiscing about the past, you know. And again, just because we have this Ten of Pentacles and we have this wheel, there's a lot of energy here and the way that they're aspecting each other in my spread. I just feel like there's going to be tension, but resolution in a new cycle having to do with something in your career or some sort of financial situation that you're going through. So this could be, again, going back to the past to help a situation. And I'm literally getting this like revisiting an old contract, an old job, an old idea prospect, old colleagues, an old employee, getting back to the basics or the pet. If you're dealing with an inheritance situation, if you're dealing with a business situation, getting back to the basics as to why you guys originally wanted to get into business together, whatever that is. But it is, whatever's going to be exercised here, there's expectation. There's expectation and there's conformity, right? And there's progress forward, all right? In your either work, your decisions, your direction, whatever it is, right? A lot of you might be dealing with a very inspirational person. So this could be a lawyer who's on your side, a really supportive a group of colleagues, a supportive employer, just somebody who's just very motivating, very helpful for the situation. Okay, and then we have the High Priestess energy. The High Priestess energy is a good energy about, in as far as it further supports this idea of being patient, because success is coming. We have to be patient, but something needs time to mature or to be ironed out or be figured out, to be nurtured. Something needs a little bit of time, but definitely shifting in a good direction, right? This is nice. We have the Wheel, which is good news coming in, certainly, right? Just make sure that you prioritize what's being asked of you and you exercise a ton of integrity. Seriously, like no white lies, no trying to pull the wool over anybody. No, like total honesty in whatever situation is going to mean everything in this energy. So it looks good. I think that this is it's kind of like a slow moving. There are issues that need to be worked out for sure. You're in between things. Again, this idea of crossing the street. Yep, we get the Between Worlds here, the Between Worlds card. But it does seem like slow and steady wins the race here. Does look like something's going to be working out for the best, right? Especially with this High Priestess energy. Very nice. And the Wheel of Fortune. All right, my friends, that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.